Finally finished with the blue room. Pretty proud of how it turned out. Don't think I need anything else.
Oh my god, oh my god. A blue item I don't own yet. That's perfect, I need it now.
This is going to be exciting.
Wait, do we really need it? I mean, it's for little kids, and it's a bit pricey. And all it's really gonna do is just sit in the room.
Don't be a frickin' wimp, let's buy it!
No, he does have a point. Maybe we should think a little bit before buying it.
But it might be out of stock if we wait too long. But then again, if we buy it now, we won't have money for anything else for a while.
Guys, Matthew's been in Tina Belcher mode for a while now.
Who's doing that? I was. Who are you again? Anxiety, remember? Oh yeah, you're the new guy. Actually, I've been here since Matthew hit puberty.
Really? Well, I guess I'm too depressed to remember that. Well, come on! Are we gonna buy it or not?
How about we all push the button at the same time?
Good idea. And life sucks. I got nothing to live for. Reality pisses me off sometimes, and blue is the key to a happy life. So shut up and take my $1.
Click.
Hey guys, what is up? This is Matthew Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time it is going to be on Inside Out 2. Just like the title suggests, this is the sequel to the massively acclaimed Inside Out, which I did rewatch in preparation for this video, though I don't really need to because I remembered so much from it. And I mean, I have rewatched it multiple times, but I'll get into that in a bit. Anyways, in this film, Riley has hit puberty. She is 13 years old now. She goes to a new school to join in a hockey game with her friends, though things change a little bit when a new girl appears, and once she's there, she starts getting new emotions. Anxiety, envy, embarrassment, and I forgot what the other one's name was. I'm just gonna say the bored emotion. You've seen it in the trailer. And things change once anxiety takes over and joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust are taken to the other side of Riley's mind, as Riley isn't herself anymore and they're starting to make her into a new Riley. Now, what can I say about Inside Out? It is a masterpiece. It is one of the most genius animated films to ever be made. And after rewatching it, I feel like the movie just gets better with each viewing. It was a very intelligent film, showing that it's not okay to always be happy, and showing that it's definitely okay to be sad and angry and just have all these emotions that will definitely start getting into you, because, you know, stuff is hard in reality. And when you see things change, your emotions aren't always going to, well... it's just a brilliant movie all around, and I love every second of it. Did it really need a sequel, though? I mean, I was looking forward to this movie, no doubt, but the fact that Pixar's track record hasn't been the best in the previous few years, I mean, I really enjoyed Turning Red, despite what some people on the internet say, but movies like Elemental and Lightyear definitely didn't hit the marks as some of Pixar's other great works. Not just at the box office, but with audiences. Like, I see a lot of people trash Lightyear, and I see some people just split on Elemental. So I definitely had my fears with this one, but I'm gonna be honest, I had myself a really emotionally good time with this film. I definitely don't think this is as good as the first movie. I don't think this is like the best Pixar sequel ever. I don't think it's nearly as good as any of the Toy Story sequels. Yes, that includes the fourth one. I know, same with the movies I just mentioned. A lot of people trash that movie on the internet, but I still think it's great. It's my least favorite in the franchise, but I still think it's great. But Inside Out 2 definitely takes its concept into a new direction once Riley gains these new emotions. As I feel like, as you know, we as not just teenagers but also as adults, when we get these types of new emotions, they will start changing us about who we are. And change is always scary. The fact that anxiety is taking over, I feel like it's the most relatable thing they could have done for this sequel, because it's not just teenagers that gets this, it's everybody. I get anxiety like all the time. In reality, it's just been a struggle. I even got anxiety when I started moving in here, but you know, things have definitely gotten better, and I'm very comfortable being here by myself with my little boy Lecter, my little kitty Lecter, good boy. So yeah, and there are often times where I was kind of nervous, like, are they going to do the exact same thing that they did for the first movie? And what I mean by that is, if you remember from the first movie, Joy and Sadness were out of headquarters and had to get all the way back there, so Riley will feel better about herself. But yeah, that happens to all the emotions this time around once the new emotions take over. And while yeah, it might seem a bit familiar, I will say the new areas they explore in Riley's mind are very genius. Like, I'm not going to get into spoilers or anything like that, but there's this new area that basically makes Riley who she is. And it's like some sort of like tree thing, and it's basically what gives Riley her whole personality about the memories she's made and how she feels about herself. And it is handled so well and so beautifully. Like, the movie still captures the same smarts of the first movie. And I gotta say, for these new emotions, anxiety was truly a show stealer, not just due to the fact that she was the most relatable emotion, but just due to the fact that she was downright, the way they handled anxiety in general is just genius. The fact that it can completely take over your mind, and you'll always get bad thoughts, but you don't want to have these bad thoughts, so you just don't know like what you're supposed to do, and it just gets in there, and it's just like, oh. So yeah, I absolutely loved how they took this concept. That was one thing I was hoping for, at least. Like, even if this wasn't going to be as good as the first movie, or if this movie just ended up being okay, it would at least have this smart concept. But I thought this movie was a lot better than okay. Now, they did change up some of the cast a little bit, but Amy Poehler is back as Joy, and she's still great. And what I also find really unique is how even the emotions, like the actual emotions, tend to get into a breakdown once in a while, because they end up having emotions of their own. Like, do the emotions have emotions? Because sometimes they themselves can be relatable. I mean, of course, there are a couple of moments where Joy starts getting teary-eyed and starts getting frustrated, and even some of the other emotions have some of those. So yeah, even though emotions as characters, they're really interesting. And the new ones, I will say though, the only one that I didn't feel like was that useful is Envy, kind of just due to the fact that I kind of forgot she was in the movie. I feel like she was barely in the movie, and I feel like that was kind of an emotion that, kind of already, like, she could just be like a little version of Joy, because like, oh wow, that is so cool. Like, that would just give us a happy feeling. So yeah, but these other emotions, there's even another one that isn't seen that often, but I feel like is also really relatable, and it's something that, in the future, she's definitely going to be more useful. So yeah, in terms of faults I really do have with the movie, like, I rarely focused on the bad of the movie, because there was actually really a thing that I didn't like. I guess the thing that I didn't necessarily, I wouldn't say I didn't like, but I just didn't feel like captured as much as the first movie is, I guess is the, like, emotions, like the tearjerker moments, because the first movie had a lot of that, and it's truly what made that movie so good and so relatable. And while there is definitely a couple of moments that will tug at the heartstrings, not as much as in the first movie. I feel like this is a more smart movie that isn't trying to go fully hard at, just pounding your heart with full emotional tears or anything like that. So I guess that's pretty much the one thing that it doesn't do as well. But, despite all of that, the fact that it's a movie that just feels so relatable, just as relatable as the first, I feel like this is a movie that isn't just trying to, be just something that the original already did, but something that the original didn't do, and that's just, the fact that we get so many bad thoughts and we have a certain emotion just taking all that over. It's a genius concept, and I think it works great in this. In the end, guys, Inside Out 2, I wasn't nervous about it with Pixar's track record, but I'm happy to say that this is a great sequel with new emotions and some really show-stealing moments from Anxiety, and we explore more of Riley's mind as she's growing up, and it's just something that I feel like anybody can relate to just as much as in the first movie. I feel like adults can relate to it just as much as kids. It might not have that same emotional feel as the first movie, but I feel like the way the movie handles, the whole anxiety taking over your mind thing, and just the fact that you're not always going to be the same person you once were when you were younger, it's something that anybody can relate to. It's by far one of the most relatable movies of the year, and I'm just so thankful that, I got anxious for nothing. I had anxiety take over my brain when going into this movie, but it quickly turned to joy once the movie started, got to the middle, and ended. Funny thing, if you guys remember my review for the Emoji Movie, I mentioned how in Inside Out, Riley was going through anxiety in that movie. Yeah, I was wrong. I was 100% wrong. I don't even know why I even brought that up. There are a lot of things in my old videos that I don't bring up, but yeah, things have changed for me. Oh yeah, also, one more thing I should probably mention. This isn't necessarily a spoiler. I mean, it kind of might be, but I'm saving this towards the end. One thing that I was kind of a little confused by was Riley has these new emotions, but the adults that we saw the emotions for in the first movie didn't have them. I was all like, okay, is this going to be a plot hole? Are they going to explain this? This might be a spoiler, but it's not a plot hole, so don't worry about it. Anyways, thanks to Matthew Bailey for helping me with the skit in the beginning, and yes, I did get a green screen. It's actually right in front of me right now, so yeah, expect me to use that a little more often once I do tend to do more skits, which obviously I do tend to do. But anyways, yeah, I recommend checking this film out. Hopefully this doesn't bomb, because yeah, but I don't know, I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but hey, I definitely recommend supporting it. It's actually a damn good sequel that definitely is worth your time. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.